So we all know that the hardest part about buying a home could be that down payment.
But wait, there's help.
Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I'm DeLynn Gaston. Thank you so much for joining us. So yay, down payment assistance programs are back.
I thought you were going to say spring is here.
And spring is here. That's exciting too.
And COVID has passed.
We're working on it. We're definitely working on it. It's definitely interesting how things have changed, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, the difference a year makes.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the same place, but
It's almost
different.
like we lost 2020,
Okay.
you know, like completely. People, it just, you know, we can just remove that from our whole timeline of life.
It was just, we call it life experience, that's all.
Yes.
Well,
But
hey,
anyway.
anyway,
But so
we don't want to talk about the pandemic.
we
That's
don't want
not
to
our
talk
show.
about the pandemic. No, we don't.
Tune in for the pandemic update.
That'd be another show.
That would be.
I'm
ooh.
sure there's lots of people talking about that stuff.
Yeah, everybody's
But
talking
what we
about
want
the
to talk
number-
about is
I'm going to
houses.
tell you this. We are going to talk about houses. The number one topic at the water cooler right now?
Is COVID?
No.
Is who's taking the shot and who's not taking a shot?
It's actually which shot are you getting?
Ah.
People are inquiring, what are you getting? So that's like the biggest topic. Have you had how many people have asked you so far, you know, did you get the virus? Oh, which one are you getting?
Yes, actually, if I hear somebody say, you know, are you getting the virus or whatever else, or are you getting the shot, I always say to them, which one are you getting?
See? It's the number one topic. I read that. I'm like, wow, what an interesting
Everyone's trying to do
conversation.
their research
People-
through other people.
Yeah, everybody wants to know.
That's what I'm doing.
I know. Yeah.
You know, the funny thing, that just kind of goes to, you know, they say that, you know, when you're talking to a group of people, you know, you say the word, everybody does this or everybody does it, because everybody wants to be a part of everybody.
You're right.
That's just like an internal thing in our minds. Our minds say, "Ooh, if everybody else is doing it, I need to do it too."
Right.
You know, so totally off topic here.
It is totally. It's like opinions.
one of those
Everybody wants
mind
to have an
things.
opinion. Everybody has
Everybody
them.
does have an
I
opinion.
know. They're like Camaros in the 70s. Everybody had one.
Or IROC C's.
Yes. Or
You did have a
Tauruses.
Camaro, you had an
Remember the
IROC
Ford
C.
Taurus in the 80s?
I do. I had one.
Yeah. Everybody had one. So anyway,
They're a
let's
good
talk
price.
about something. You know, we know home ownership is super important to people to build wealth, to build stability, to make a life. And
Right.
home ownership is really a key way to do it. And a lot of people struggle with coming up with the down payment. And you know, the misnomer for people is they need 20% down.
And I still get those questions.
Yeah, they're
That is
like,
a
I need a
big
lot of money to
misnomer.
put down.
No, you don't.
You don't.
No,
No,
you
you
don't.
can actually get in. We're going to talk about, there's a number of different down payment assistance programs out there. We're going to talk about one of them that we have recently rolled out that's available to you. But we want to let you know that you can get into a house without these programs for 3%, 3.5%, 5%, 10%, 20% down. You know, there's different options out there. So check with your local lender on programs.
Or us.
Or, yeah, I know, but we're not, it's not, you know what, we give information. but
I know.
Even
I
though we're
know.
the best at what we do, we know that there's a lot of people that are almost as good as us. Did you like
So,
that? Almost.
Almost. So we do say sorry to our out-of-state watchers. We do have people from out of state who watch us, but this is just, we're going to talk about the Pasco County program today, or anyone in the other areas. So there are some state programs, some state of Florida programs, but just recently the Pasco County has come back with funding, and they have a good bit of funding right now for down payment assistance. It's been a program that has been around for many, many years, and again, like most of the government programs, they get the funding. When it's gone, it's gone. So that's why it's timely, and we want to make sure that we get the information out to you right away. So those of you realtor partners out there who are watching, as you know, in the past, realtors had to be certified, and they had to take a class, and a 2-hour class or 3-hour class, something like that. We used to do it on our lunch and learns for them.
And we're gonna,
But not this year. They don't have to be certified. However, they have to sign a letter of understanding that they have been trained in the program.
So we're going to, we've just offered the training.
Today.
Yeah, today.
Sorry if you missed it,
Yeah,
but here's a recap.
Yeah, so we're just going to kind of give you the basic outlines today of the Pasco County Down Payment Assistance. So first of all, in order to do the program, the lender must be approved with the county to do it. That's the first thing you need to know. So a number of lenders are going to be doing this program. We happen to be one of those cool people
Right.
to doing that. And they have to go through the course as well. So don't think that you're alone, Mr. Realtor, in having the knowledge. So we're
and that's
we're
good
all,
because
yeah,
we all
know.
need to understand the program so that we're not wasting anybody's time.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you everything about this program. Just know there's funding. We're just going to give you the basic nuts and bolts of it. So if you have anybody that needs assistance for down payment, this program may be an option. And like DeLynn said, there are a number of programs out there that are available, but today we're just going to focus on this one specifically.
And I did want to note that there is a website that will pop up at the end here that you should sign up for, get more information. There it is. Oh, we'll pop it up now.
It's like magic.
So there's the website, and there's something called Notify Me. So if you go to the website, which is specific for the Pasco County Down Payment Assistance Program, and click on the one that says Notify Me, so that every time there's updates to the program, they're running out of funds in this particular category or that category or something like that, they'll notify you so that everybody's in the loop on what's going on. Okay.
So let's talk about the requirements. So the first thing is the buyer must contact TBCDC to schedule the home buyer education class. So,
because the home buyer still has to take education classes.
Yes, so we want, people need to understand homeownership, while to me, it's one of the most amazing things. It comes with a lot of responsibility. In that first-time home buyer class, they will teach you about some of the things you don't think about, where when you were a renter, when the toilet broke, or the hot water heater broke, or the AC broke, you called the landlord.
Not my problem.
Well, guess what? Now you are the landlord, so you need to understand that when you own a home, there are other expenses that may and will occur throughout the home. While you enjoy appreciation and you're investing in yourself, there are other costs with home
And these
ownership.
home buyer education classes help you with budgeting for things like that, the rainy day funds and things like that. They're very, very good, and they are requirements. So once you go on to the website and you sign up for a class, I believe most of them they're doing via Zoom right now, sign up for a class. It is 8 hours, I think.
I think
I'll have to double check that, but
I don't think it is 8 hours.
it used to be. It used to be 8 hours.
And they're doing them online now. So.
Yeah, it is done via Zoom. But in any event, so at the end of the class, you will receive a certificate that you did the class, and that certificate is good for 2 years still.
Yes, and then once they have completed that course and they want to work with a realtor, they must be pre-approved with the lender. So the lender that is approved with that program. So they're providing the first loan per se, and the down payment assistance is providing that second loan. And the realtor must sign that letter of understanding that they understand the program before the buyer can even move forward. So that's really important for our realtor partners to understand.
Now, the other thing is once you do not reserve funds until after you have a contract on a house. So you can't say, well, I want to tap into that money and, reserve funds when you haven't even found a house yet. So it does only get reserved once you find a house, you've been out shopping, you find a house, you put in a contract, the contract is accepted, that's when you let your lender know, and the lender will reserve the funds for you.
And that reservation is good for 90 days, up to 90 days. So we can hold that money for you for the down payment up to 90 days. Once the 90 days is up, poof, that money will expire, and you'd have to start again and hope there's more funding. So you don't have to worry about the county being out of money once you have that reservation. Of course, that's all done simultaneously with your pre-approval with your lender.
And keep in mind that the whole process takes quite a while between the lender approving you, and then once the lender has you approved, we have to submit it to the county for the county to then approve you. So keep in mind that it's so, I know we say this a lot, so important to get all of the documentation in really as soon as you
How
can.
many times have we done the document
I
show?
know, to keep everything going, because at the end, people say, oh, well, let's just, we want to get to closing. No, from the time everything is cleared to close, the county requires 7 days before they can cut a check.
That's good to know.
And it is. So right at the end, it's going to get I bite my fake fingernails off, turn gray, So it's real important to keep everything rolling along as it should throughout the whole process so that we don't run into these crunches at the end. And they issue a check. They do not send a wire to the title company, so the buyer is not allowed to go and pick up that check from the county. It could only be the lender, the realtor, or a third party that goes and picks up that check and brings it to the closing table.
So because it is that 7-day window, it's safe to say that, our average closing time is 35 days right now, which is really good in this market.
Very good.
We have them that close for less, but it's safe to assume we're going to need a little extra time when you do this program on your contract. So keep that in mind. We typically recommend 45 days. This program, you probably want it 45 to 60 days, I would say.
Definitely, I wouldn't do less than 45, that's for sure.
Yeah, 60 days is probably
Definitely,
good.
yeah. Let's not do 30-day contracts if someone is going through any kind of home buyer assistance program. Please don't, because it's not going to happen.
Because here's what happens.
Yeah, especially with this whole 7-day things with the check at the end for the county. Okay, so that's kind of like some of the general, how the process works and things like that. So let's get into the guidelines. Did we hit everything on the process and everything?
Yeah,
Good,
I think so.
Okay, so let's go into the guidelines. Here's the interesting part of it. Okay, so first of all, so that people know, people sometimes don't realize that any of the down payment assistance programs, they're all a loan. It is a loan.
Right.
It is a second mortgage loan, which means that it is also on the property. So all loans are a lien on the property. So you have your first lien on the property, and this is a second lien on the property, which means if you ever go to sell this house or refinance or something, that will have to be paid off as well.
But here's the beautiful thing about it, which I loved on that first line on this slide, is that it's a 0% loan. So if you're looking for almost free, that's almost free. 0%.
That's almost free.
Yeah, interest rates have never hit that low, but it is a second mortgage with a 0% interest rate, which is, I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. So while you will have to pay it back, it is a 0% interest rate on the onset for the program. So, and then the other part of the program is that the first mortgage, whoever that may go through, that is an approved lender, of course, cannot go over 1% over the average rate of a Freddie Mac loan. So what does that mean in layman's term? Well, if the prevailing rate right now on a Freddie Mac loan is 3.5%, the program will not allow you to pay more than 4.5% on that loan. So
it kind of keeps down on predatory lenders. There's some lenders out there that charge crazy rates.
Yeah, they might try to bump your rate because, oh, you're not bringing any money to the table, so you're going to pay more.
Right.
This rule, in my mind, it will eliminate that possibility.
It's a protection for you, which is good. Lender fees, sometimes lender fees can get sometimes outrageous, so this also limits the lender fees. And then, unfortunately, sorry to our realtor partners, we can't charge anything except the commission, so any of those transaction fees or things like that.
MLS fee, any of those buyer fees
not
that
allowed.
are extra, so just your normal commission.
Just regular commissions, all that's allowed on these programs.
Yeah, so
all right.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
All right, next. Let's go on to our next one. Borrowers cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years. Keep in mind, they say that this is a first-time home buyer program only, and they being the industry, constitutes first-time home buyers as long as you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years.
So you could have owned a home 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you will qualify potentially for this program.
And the other half of that one is that it has to be a primary residence. This is not allowed. You're not allowed to use these funds for buying an investment property.
So you can't buy a house, put it on Airbnb, and try to make money. It's not going to work. So it has to be your homestead, and you must maintain homestead status the entire time on that home.
As long as you have the loan.
Yes.
If the loan is then since paid off, and you
Then
need to
can.
relocate or something like that,
And
you
believe
can
me,
turn it into a
the
rental
county does pull
property.
records on these.
They
If
sure
you
do.
move out and you lose your homestead, they will come back to you and call a note. And I've seen it happen to
Yes.
people. Yes.
Obviously, homeowners insurance is a requirement.
And it will name both the first lender and the county as, you know,
As lost payees.
lost payees on it.
Real estate taxes, of course, have to be paid, and county loan must be repaid. There are some, the state has a program, it's called the Florida Bond Program, where it says, but that's an entirely different show, and we'll touch on that one time too. But that's a little bit different, and some of the programs, after 5 years or after so many years, it's a forgivable loan. This is not. This absolutely has a repayment.
Yes, so now, we are giving you a 0% interest loan here. So what's the catch? Well, there are some catches, of course. So we have some income requirements that will be part of this transaction. You cannot make $1 million a year, come in and apply for this down payment money. It's probably not going to be the program for you. If you do have $1 million a year, we probably have an excellent program for you, but it won't be this one.
So there's basically 3 categories, and it depends on how many people in the household. Keep in mind, when they say how many people in the household, they're taking into consideration everyone in the household, including your children. Even if your children are 3 and 5 and don't make any income, that's
do
fine.
count.
It goes by number
Now-
of people in the household. And even if your mom lives with you and she's, 67 or...
She counts as well.
She counts as well.
Now, Fido and Morris do not count towards the head count. I know some of you say, well, I claim it as a dependent. Doesn't matter. We cannot allow any pets to be claimed as part of the, this is government. They're very specific on it being a natural, real person.
And they take into consideration all of the income in the household. So again, even if mom is not on the loan, but she lives in your household with you and she has Social Security or she makes income somehow, her income is going to factor into these income limits that we're going to pop up here. The 3 separate categories, it depends, how much money do I get for down payment assistance is one of the big questions that we get. That depends on where you fall in this little chart.
Yes.
How many people in the household, and if your income doesn't exceed this, or this, in the 3 categories, that's going to determine how much
So-
money you get.
So to get the most money, you have to be part of that 50% AMI, which is very low income. To get the middle tier money, you have to be part of that 80% AMI. And then if you want to get some assistance, which we're going to show you the numbers here in a minute, if you're part of that moderate income, that's the 120% AMI, you will get less down payment money. But as you can see, you can actually make up to $97,000 if you have 6 people in your household.
I was going to say, so this has changed for any of you Realtor partners who remember the program before. This is definitely our AMI, area median income is what that
Well-
stands for. Area median income has changed.
And it's gone up because
Exactly.
the
So
problem before was
People made too much money.
people didn't, the program limits were so low that they couldn't qualify for the house.
I know.
I mean, it's like, oh, we have this great program, but you got to make so little money that you don't qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
And obviously you have to be pre-qualified on that first mortgage in order to make this work, so.
So the next slide I want to show you, it talks about, obviously, it's up to the home buyer to find the house, obviously, you and your realtor together, and what is eligible and what is not eligible, because they are pretty specific on this. First of all, single-family homes, which is a regular house, one unit house, townhomes and condominiums are all fine. They fall into the category that they're allowed. The maximum purchase price, the maximum sales price that you're allowed to buy is $200,000. No wiggle room on that. So if the house is 210, sorry, you
You better
cannot.
put the offer in for 200.
Yeah, you cannot qualify for this program. So it's only under homes $200,000 or less. And I do understand that that's getting a little bit more difficult.
And then we have homes that are excluded. So the big no-no is flood areas. Anything in a flood zone will not work. Anything that is a sinkhole home, even if it's been remediated or stabilized, They will not allow it. There's no mobile or manufactured homes allowed at all in this program. So
Keep that in mind as you're out there house shopping.
Yeah, you're out house shopping.
Especially a lot of people right now, it seems in the lower price ranges, they're looking for mobile homes because you get, they feel you get a lot more for your buck there, and they're lower priced.
Right.
Mobile homes are not allowed in this program.
Nope.
So.
Nope. And even, especially the repaired sinkholes. So
Right.
that's a biggie.
Now, how much money do you, as the home buyer, have to have into the transaction? Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
That's my phone.
Yeah,
That's my alarm.
Check your tweet.
Sorry. Okay, so you are required to put some, as they call it, skin in the game. So there's definitely, depending upon which income bracket you fall into, the low income, the very low income, the low income, or the moderate income, you can see how much money you have to put in. So depending upon on the previous screen with the 3 separate categories, there's how much money you are required from your own funds to put into the transaction. That doesn't mean that's all you have to pay. That just means that's the minimum amount you have to pay. You might have to pay more depending upon, the real estate taxes, the homeowner's
So your very low
insurance.
income, as you can see, is $500 out of pocket. The low income, which is 50 to 80% of the AMI, is $1,250 out of your pocket. Moderate income, which you'll have to contribute at least $1,500. And that, if you paid for the home inspection up front,
All of that
can be
counts.
part of it. If you paid for the appraisal up front, that's fine. When you wrote that escrow check to the title company, that's included in those funds as well. So, and there are other expenses that can be
I was
reviewed
just
on a
gonna-
case-by-case basis.
And I was just going to say, just keep in mind, though, that's because I know this is very confusing to people. That is not all you have to pay. That's
Yes.
just the minimum of what you have to pay.
Right.
There will be other expenses that you will, more likely than not, have to pay out of pocket at the closing. So just keep that in mind.
All right, now let's talk about the good news. How much money will you get? Well, this is really actually exciting. This is the most I've seen in down payment in a while. So if you're in that 50% AMI, the very low income, you actually can get up to $25,000 of assistance at 0%, okay? And
this talks about the payment and payback. Well, let's go through the first
Yeah.
column first. Yeah.
So basically, you have a deferral for 5 years. It will be amortized over 30 years. So that means you don't actually have to pay anything back on this loan for 5
the
years.
first 5 years.
Yeah, so that's kind of sweet.
And keep in mind, again, if you sell the house or refinance it, you do have to pay that money back, so it has to be in there. So, but then you start making your payments, and it's as little as $69.44. I don't have my glasses on, though. Is
Yeah,
that right?
that's for $25,000 for $69. That's
For
pretty
$69,
sweet.
right?
Yeah, that's because it's at 0%. So
$25,000 car loans.
I know.
Your payment's a lot more than $69.
Well, and it's also amortized over 30 years.
Right.
Okay, so to get $15,000, you have to be part of the 80%, which is the low income bracket, but you will get $15,000 of assistance, which is $6,250 over a 20-year AM. And again, you get a 5-year deferral, and you must contribute $1,250 of your own money. And then for the moderate income,
Which is where most of the
most
people
people
fall.
will probably fall. You can get that $5,000, and it's $41.67 over 10 years. But you do have to start payments on that one immediately, and you must contribute a minimum out-of-pocket of $1,500 at the closing table or during the process of the loan. So it's actually that's pretty sweet. I think a lot of people will qualify for that $5,000. That can be the difference of people, getting to the closing table or not.
It is.
Some people will get the 15, and a few people will be fortunate enough to get the 25,000. So.
Right.
So, and here's your kind of outline of your guidelines. All buyers must work with approved lenders. The realtors you work with must sign that letter of understanding, remember. And if you go on the web page right now, you will see your lenders up there and realtors available. If you want to get on that realtor list, you probably should have joined us, but hey, just saying, get that letter of understanding. And then you need that workshop certificate, which you get online by attending the first-time homebuyer class, which, like DeLynn said earlier, is good for 2 years. So, hey, get
So
it
it's
now.
a good program. It definitely is a little bit different than what the state offers, and we'll do the state program another time. But again, Pasco just started this, and there is limited funds available when it is county funds. So
get your funds reserved. Find a house, get them
yeah,
reserved.
if you find a house, this is definitely something that's going to help a lot of people, because it is hard to save for it.
Yeah.
But it definitely has some quirks to it, like, the no manufactured homes and
Right.
up to $200,000 only. So we wanted to share that information with you guys so that you know what's out there and what is available.
Right. So anyway, real quick, let's give a quick update on our charity, on what we got going on, because we always talk about trying to help people in the community. Right now we have the HEART program. If you go on West Pasco Business Association, which is WPBA.biz, look for the HEART program. Right now we're offering assistance for people who may be struggling from COVID on rental payments. So we can actually help you with your rent and or utilities, meaning water and electric. So apply for it online. You must live in Pasco County to qualify, and there are income requirements specifically for that program as well. But
Please share that information, because there's plenty of money that is available
It's
to help
amazing.
these people. It's
It's amazing.
lot. This time, we were limited last time, and we're still limited, but there's
Don't
way
say
more
that.
money.
Yeah.
There's way more money this time than there was before. So, and we don't have as many restrictions that we had before. We can only pay up to so much. This way here, we can pay, if they've been delinquent, you have a tenant and they've been delinquent for a year, we can catch that up. So there's
and
not,
pay 3 months forward.
and pay 3 months into the future for them, and
Pretty-
hope that they'll
pretty-
get back on their feet.
Pretty sweet. Go to WPBA.biz, like we said, and share that. So anyway, great information.
I
Good,
know,
good.
great information.
No.
And we will have to do something about the state program. We'll
And there are
do an
specific
update on that.
lender programs which we offer as well. 100% financing. Of course, there's VA out
Mm-hmm.
there. We do have the zero down payment program, as well.
USDA.
And USDA.
And our own internal program. And exciting, something coming up that's pretty soon is we're, when COVID happened, a lot of the programs kind of like, they
How'd that go?
feel like that. They kind of like stopped doing some of the programs. Well, we have one of our own down payment assistance program is back, as well as the renovation program.
Yep, so it's out
More
there.
to come on that.
So make sure you share this show. Thank you all for watching. Like us. I don't know how you found us, but
We're glad you did.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for watching We Are Today and Every Day.
moving forward. Have
See
a
you
great
next
week.
Bye-bye.